I can honestly say that of the more than 100 videos I have planned and posted to this channel, I have never ended the day with footage for an entirely different video than from when I started. Until today.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel, Behind the Door. I'm Kevin O'Donnell, and today we are down at the entrance to the Sturgeon Bay Ship Canal on the North Breakwater, heading out to the lighthouse. And I know what you're thinking. Geez, Kevin, it's been a long time since we've seen you, since you've made a video, and indeed it has. Yeah, there's a reason for that. I've had some health issues. Surgery back in January for more skin cancer on my scalp. Not fun. Took a piece out of my scalp about the size of a quarter. Took a long time to heal from that, and then in March I was stricken with a gallbladder attack, and I ended up in the hospital having my gallbladder removed right at the time when all the boats were leaving after the Soo Locks opened. So I missed all of the boats going out except for one, the Stewart Court. And the only reason I haven't missed the Stewart Court is because she was getting ready to leave last week and she didn't pass her Coast Guard inspection. Something to do with a lifeboat. That's what I hear anyway. So she's still here, and hopefully I'll be able to get her going out when she eventually does leave. That's always tricky because they don't give you much notice. It's not like on the Marine app where you can see the boats coming in. They just take off and go. So yeah, it's been an interesting couple of months. I want to show you what I'm going to plan on doing here tonight. I plan on coming back to do a night shoot of the Milky Way coming up over this lighthouse. We'll talk about that when we get to the end here. This is always a treacherous walk in the dark at night. I'll make sure to bring my trekking poles. I mean, you got these things in your way. These are sometimes loose, all kinds of divots and stuff in the concrete. So, all right, walk out to the end here. Alright, so what I'm looking to do here is hopefully the skies will be clear. They'll remain clear. They're calling for some clouds tonight, but I'll get out here around midnight, and at 1:30 the Milky Way, the core of the Milky Way, is going to come up over the lake there, and high enough in the sky, hopefully, to not be interfered with by the lights across the lake, the light pollution. And what I'll have is, in my frame, a single frame shot, the lighthouse coming in at an angle like this, and then the Milky Way rising above it like this, so like a big wedge shape. And hopefully it'll be clear to the horizon tonight. Now, I've taken this shot before, about 4 years ago, I think. Be interesting to see how much more light pollution there is than there was 4 years ago. So what I'll do is I will, I'm not using a star tracker. I'll take multiple shots, the same image, the same frame, and then I will exposure stack those to help reduce the amount of noise in the camera sensor. So I'll take like 20 shots of the same composition, And then in Photoshop, I will align them because of the rotation of the Earth. The stars are going to appear to trail a bit, but if I align them, they'll appear as dots. I'll have about a 8 to 10 second exposure, f2.8, ISO somewhere around 4,000, 5,000. And just take that same shot over and over. And what I want to do this time, that I didn't do 4 years ago, is I want to take separate exposures just for the light in the lighthouse, which flashes, I think it's every 3 seconds for 1 second. But it's so bright, it kind of washes out everything around it. So I'm going to take multiple exposures of just the light flashing, somewhere around a half a second to a second, maybe a second and a quarter, so I can get more detail in the tower, in the light tower itself, and then blend that with the stacked photos of the night sky. Bit of an experiment for me. We'll see how it turns out. Now, the one thing about shooting at night, especially shooting the Milky Way, is everything else around it is dark. It's just silhouetted. But because of this lighthouse and this Coast Guard station here, it's pretty well illuminated, and it casts just the right amount of light on the lighthouse to illuminate it, so we don't just get a big silhouetted lighthouse. So that's one of the things I like about shooting out here. The other thing I notice about shooting out here is how clear the water is and how low it is. When I was out here in 2020, the water came almost up to where I'm standing, about a foot short of where I'm standing. So it's down about 3.5 feet, I would say. None of these rocks were exposed when I was out here last time. So that's my shot. Hopefully the skies will stay clear. You know, we'll see. At the very least, I'll be out here for 3 or 4 hours by myself. Weather will be about 40 degrees, about 5 degrees C. And there's nothing quite like being out under the stars on a quiet night by yourself. I absolutely love it out here. Absolutely love it. I dropped one of my trekking poles and it slid down this onto the concrete below, and I gotta see if I can't retrieve it now. I'm not going down there because if I get down there, there's no way back up. Come on. Come on. Success. All right. All right, so not as good as I would have hoped or expected. And I'll tell you what the biggest disappointment is. The lights across the lake from Frankfurt. Now, I haven't shot here for, I don't know, a few years. Probably 2 years since I've been out here. And compared to this photograph, I'll put this one up that I took in 2020. So that was 4 years ago. Look how much more light there is now on the horizon coming across from Frankfurt. It just reaches higher into the sky. It's much brighter than it ever was before. Also, the Milky Way core is obscured near the horizon now. It's just right into that light from across the lake. Milky Way is rising now and it's swinging around a little more to the southeast. So about another half hour, 45 minutes from now, it should be in the position that I had actually come out here to take. And I'm shooting at ISO 5000, f2.8, 10-second shutter speed. So yeah, as it rises now, it becomes a little bit more prominent in the sky as it gets away from the light pollution from the horizon. So these are all single shots taken horizontally. I don't think I'm going to do any panels tonight. We'll see. But yeah, really disappointing with how much light pollution there is now.
Dejected, I didn't stay much longer. I knew from experience that what I came to capture was never going to materialize. Too much moisture in the air, too windy, and above all, way too much light pollution. It had been 4 years since I sat at the end of that pier photographing the Milky Way, and in that time, the increase in the amount of light pollution visible from 60 miles away across the lake was not only startling to me, but devastating. It has been increasing on the peninsula too, although not as noticeably. So I set out with a new plan: to begin documenting the threats and changes to the peninsula's dark skies, and to advocate to the extent that I can for retaining this rare and irretrievable resource. So on that note, there's more to come.